Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the technique obscure sword, its execution, some of the things that can go wrong with its execution, some of the things you should know about its execution, and some of the things that you can do to compensate for things that might go wrong. So let's talk about the initial attack. The initial attack is standard from behind. The interesting thing about this is that it's offset. We do have techniques that are directly behind us and other ones that are close or far. So this is a combination of those two. It's a unique one because it's offset and long range as opposed to offset and close range, which we have a different technique for. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we have to worry about what's happening. This person comes up to attack us and they grab us from our obscure zone. First thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we can see them. And then what we want to do is make sure that we cover our face, because we have to worry about either that right hand coming into us or this left hand continuing to punch us, okay? So by bringing our hand up, instead of trying to pin their hand, all we're doing is we're gonna cover our face up. That will take care of both of these situations, okay? Next thing we need to worry about is where we're gonna step. I can step over here to my left, but then I really don't have alignments when I face him because my back weapons, left weapons are covered up. Same thing would occur on the straight ahead or 12 o'clock. So the best place to step is to the 130 line or right front flank and then begin to turn to face them so I have my weapons in line with them. The problem with that is I now have this right hand I need to worry about. Okay, so what we do in order to do that, we'll get to in just a minute. The interesting part of all this is you'll see people worry about that right hand when they step here and they'll spin in the air and try and cover up as fast as they can. The problem with that is you're doing things in the air. You haven't established a base. So what we want to do is establish a base. And when we establish this base, we want to make sure that we're really not alerting the person to too much, which is why if we do pin their hand to our shoulder and begin to step, you're going to notice that they can tell what we're doing. What we want to do is just cover our face so that when we do step, they're not aware of the fact that we're aware that they're doing something to us. All we're doing is what's called purposeful defiance. We're stepping away from them, which would then elicit a pull on their part to say, no, I want to punch you in the face, and they're pulling you back into them. And what you want to do is take advantage of that reaction, if they give it or not, it doesn't matter, you're going to do the same thing, is you want to do what's called purposeful compliance. What you want to do is use that in order to turn back to them so that you can then use that torque in order to hit them. Now, what am I doing with my right hand? What I'm doing with my right hand here is when I do the initial step, so I want to bring my hand so they can't see it. That's called an obscure weapon. And then what I want to do is I want to hit on an obscure line. Okay, so when I hit on this obscure line, I'm going to do what's similar to what we do in lone kimono and twin kimono. We don't want to do the circular pattern here, and we want to keep our elbow anchored. So as we come in here, we want to shift this and hit down like this. If we do this circular pattern here, we're giving him too much response time, and we're doing it within this visual zone. And if he was to throw the punch, I can use this in order to do the block instead of the chop, which is the standard for the technique. Okay, so once we've done all that, we now have everything up here covered. Okay, so that means everything down here is pretty much open, which is what we take advantage of with this next final maneuver. There's two ways you can do this. One is up. If they're too close, you might want to do up and notice that they stay there. The other one is you push. He's a little close for that, but that's the general idea. You pushing and they're going to go away. And then as you return back with your left foot in order to do the kick, you can do it one of two ways. If they're very close like he was, you probably want to create some distance with the pull drag. Okay? If you push them, it's not as important. You can just do the step. It doesn't really matter. Either way, you can do either pull drag or not, and it's all depending upon them and what you feel like doing, and you can choose either one. It is irrelevant to the technique. Okay, so now we're going to do it slightly faster so that you can see it, and I'm going to talk my way through, and then we're going to do it again one more time so that you can see it without any explanation. What we're going to do is cover our face, step to 130, create a zone of obscurity or a weapon of obscurity, strike on a zone of obscurity to the throat, set everything up, keep our elbow anchored, do our kick, pull drag, cross out and cover. Okay, one more time so that you can see it in operation. Hope this video helps you. Thank you very much.